So you're leading something you really care about, and you're ready to quit. You want to throw in the towel. You're willing to give up. Hold for a moment. Wait. Nearly every great leader I know knows exactly what you're feeling right now. And it's not burnout. It feels like burnout, but it's just different. You're ready to quit. You're done. You want to walk away from the thing that you say you love, the thing you built, the team you lead, all of it. And the scariest part is it doesn't feel wrong. Admitting that might just be the first honest thing you've let yourself feel in months. You're ready to burn it all down. Not because you're lazy or because you don't care, but because something deeper is wrong. I'm Carl Martin. This is Leadership Essentials from Arable, where we address what it actually looks like to lead from a deeper place in a culture that desperately needs healthy leaders. If you search leadership burnout right now, you'll get 1,000 articles telling you to sleep more, delegate better, and look, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be true and will definitely help. But that's not what's happening when you're ready to burn it all down. The burn it down impulse is not a time management problem, it's a soul problem. It's the result of the gap between who you've become and who you were created to be. The chasm. The chasm finally becomes obvious enough that you can't ignore it anymore. It's often triggered by some sort of external crisis, or worse, a collision of crises. It's usually the cumulative effect of perpetually putting on a brave face so your team doesn't lose hope. Here's the truth. It's one thing to lead a team through crisis. It's something else to lead yourself through it. It's altogether a different level to be the crisis you're trying to lead. This is huge, don't miss this. Your ability to lead yourself well in these moments will determine your ability to lead others in theirs, and will make or break your leadership legacy. So let's walk this through. Burnout is a sort of prelude to a burn it all down state of mind. You might even call burn it all down the fallout of burnout. But here's what you may not know. Burnout can be a blessing. It can be a blessing in that it supplies perceptive leaders with valuable knowledge. This knowledge takes the form of numerous warning signs before you actually arrive at really dangerous territory. For some of us, burnout shows up as lethargy or listlessness or losing your mojo. For others, it can present as hustling harder, working later, or bulldozing everyone around you. Your burnout is not the same as someone else's burnout. But if you know yourself, you can lead yourself. You can begin to recognize your signs, and then you can do something about them. The fallout of burnout, burn it all down, is something much worse. It's the cliff. It's the end game. When you hit a wall, and when you hit a wall like that, two common impulses show up aggressively. The first is impotence. It's the retreat impulse. People who impulse in this way go internal and implode quietly. Here's the script. I'm the leader. Things have gone wrong. It's all my fault. I'm not who I thought I was. I'm helpless to fix it. I may as well pack up and go home. The second script and posture is the opposite. You go external and you explode. It's equally destructive. You react with indignation. It's an attack impulse. The narrative, this is BS. I've been treated badly. I gave everything, and my team or my customers or my shareholders or my business or my followers or my church or whoever it was gave nothing back. It blames everyone and everything else, refusing to take responsibility, and just lashes out. Impotence or indignation, neither one will take you anywhere worth going, because both of them have the same problem at the heart and the root. They're short-term, myopic, self-indulgent views of a long-term game, much bigger game. They shrink your focus from generous, faith-filled, big-picture thinking to selfish, indulgent, fear-filled acting. What you need in the moment of burn it all down is not a better decision, but a better perspective. A higher vantage point, a wider view, a longer horizon, a deeper work. So here are the 4 moves you can make when you want to burn it all down. 4 shifts that can guide you out of reactivity and into response. You're not as far from where you want to be as it feels right now. First move, go higher. When you're in crisis mode, your perspective collapses inward. Everything narrows down to your immediate pain. Everything becomes the argument you just had, the email you just read, the board meeting that went sideways. So zooming outwards and upwards means stepping above the situation long enough to ask some questions. What am I actually building here? Not this quarter, not this year. What is the arc of my leadership? What's the bigger context in which I play a smaller role? What am I for that I would still be in any context? What would continue to be my driving purpose even if this version and this vision were to come apart at this moment? Most of the things that feel catastrophic in the moment are not catastrophic from 10,000 feet. They feel catastrophic because you're too close. What you need is altitude. When was the last time you asked yourself, not how are we going to get through this, but what are we actually doing this for? A reconnection to your purpose naturally audits your strategy and calls tactical mishaps to the carpet. Sometimes problems just evaporate just by realizing you're trying to solve the wrong ones. Go higher. Secondly, go wider. The burn it down impulse is almost always accompanied by tunnel vision. It tells you that this is the whole story, that your current crisis, your lack of support, your scarcity of resources, your dwindling energy is the full picture, and it never is. Going wider means taking yourself out of the center and leaning into your circle. Leading your team doesn't mean shielding them from the truth. They are there to help you carry the load, the weight, and they're there to help you imagine creative solutions. Who else is being affected by this? What are the stories you're not hearing because you're so consumed by your own experience? What would someone who loves you but doesn't work with you see if they looked at this situation? What's the true nature of the problem, and who do you know that might be perfectly suited to help you solve it? Where else or who else could provide new solutions? You see, narcissism thrives in a narrow frame. And I'm not talking about clinical narcissism. I mean the very human tendency in pain to make everything about you. Your wound, your frustration, your rights. Going wider is an act of humility. It just breaks the loop. When you reach the moment that you think all options are exhausted, it's likely because your vision and your circle are too narrow. So wider means reaching beyond your own brilliance for solutions that only others can see. Go higher, go wider, and go longer. Here's where most leaders make the most critical mistake. The burn it down feeling arrives and it masquerades as clarity. It feels like you're finally seeing the truth and we're done. But exhaustion is not discernment. And a depleted soul is the worst possible lens through which to evaluate your life. What you'll find is you're making a permanent judgment from a temporary state. Going longer means refusing to make a forever decision from a right now emotion. Now, that doesn't mean the impulse is wrong. Sometimes you do need to make an exit. You do need to make a change. Sometimes a season has ended and your soul realizes it before your calendar reflects it. But there's a difference between leaving from a place of true and right and running from a place of fear and pain. Be patient. Discomfort, even extreme discomfort, is not the end of the world. But you owe it to yourself, your purpose, your team, and what you poured your energy into for so long to stick with it long enough to identify whether it really won't ever be right, or if it's right but just really uncomfortable right now. Go longer. And then finally, go deeper. This is the one nobody wants to think about, and nobody thinks they have time to think about. You see, going deeper means asking some gnarly questions. What is this crisis revealing about me that I haven't been willing to look at? Not what's wrong with the team or what's wrong with the board, not what's wrong with the brand or the product. No, what unhealed wound or undisclosed fear or unexamined ideology is this exposing in me? What scripts are running that I haven't examined? What wounds am I leading from instead of leading through them? Where have I stopped being honest with myself? This is the work of the cave. In my book, The Cave, the Road, the Table, and the Fire, which I will link in the show notes, I specify that the cave is the daily practice of asking yourself 3 questions. Who am I? What am I for? And how will I be? The questions may not change much from day to day, but the practice needs to be daily. Because if you don't reorientate around your identity and your purpose and how you want to move through the world every day, you will naturally drift. Little by little, that drift carries you further and further and further away from your true self. It distorts your vision. It prevents you showing up to the people you care about in the way you want to. And when crisis comes, this time is so often the first thing to go, your cave time. And you stop reflecting and you stop processing and you start reacting. An unprepared leader falls into the gravitational pull of the day. Your calendar begins to set you. Your inbox directs you. In crisis moments, you should be spending more time in the cave, not less. More time journaling and meditating and breathing and praying if you pray. But you must set yourself for the day, or you will fail to hold the line against its intrusions upon your purpose. And you'll look less and less like yourself and wonder how that happened. Going deeper is the hardest move, but it has the most power to change things, because the crisis you're facing out there almost always has a root in something unresolved in here. So here's what I want you to do. If you're in the burn it down mode right now, or if you're starting to see the warning signs, don't make any decisions this week, not yet. Instead, find time to be alone. Actually alone, no phone, no podcast, and pull out your journal and walk yourself through these 4 movements. Go higher. Write down what you're actually building, not the current problem, the bigger thing. What are you for that you'd still be for even if this version of it fell apart? And go wider. Name 3 people you trust who are close to you and have some distance from the crisis and may have some wisdom to share with you. Reach out and schedule a time to sit down or get on a call with them this week. Right now, do it. As you're planning, do it. Otherwise, it will get pushed off in favor of other urgent tasks. And go longer. Ask yourself honestly, am I tempted to make a permanent judgment from a temporary state? Write down what this looks like from 5 to 10 years out, not from 5 to 10 days or even 5 to 10 weeks. And go deeper. Sit with the cave questions. Who am I? What am I for? How will I be? And then the harder one. What is this crisis exposing in me that I haven't been willing to look at? Write it down. Don't just think it, because any experience that remains unprocessed stays unlearned. And if you don't process the lessons in this crisis, you're likely to make all the mistakes that created it in the next leg of your journey. Leaders, the impulse to burn it down is not your weakness. It might be the most honest thing you've felt in months. Your soul trying to have a conversation with you. Don't ignore the impulse, but don't give into it either. Get perspective first. Go higher, go wider, go longer, go deeper, and then decide. If this was helpful for you, like this video and subscribe to this channel. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, send it on to them. And if you're a leadership geek like me, check out my recent video on sinkhole syndrome, how you can avoid the character implosion that destroys so many leaders. I'll see you next time.